What's going on, Cats fans? Yes, brand new logo. Well, not the same logo, just a different intro. My name is Ben Reeve. Paul James is with me. G'day, Paul.
Howdy. How's things, mate?
How's it going? I'm good. How are you? How's your weekend?
Good. Been a busy weekend. Been up to a lot more than I'd expected going into it. So it's going all right.
Oh, very good. Cats 2-0.
Time to get some
We're
sleep.
very happy.
We're very
full
happy.
Nuff mode. Welcome to full Nuff mode, everyone. We're going to cover off some of the games of the round this week. I believe there is a game still going. Paul, if you can just keep an eye on that game for us, that'd be great. I believe Giants were just pushing ahead there, but against the Eagles, as we all expected. But yeah, eight games played this round. So we'll go through each of those. Paul's got his Nuff of the week, as he always does. I think he's got a couple in the barrel there, but we'll see. I think he's got a favourite. So Nuff of the week. We'll have a quick look at some of the big games next round. I think there's 3 big games that come to mind for me that's worth talking about. And then we'll wrap it up. So without further ado, if you haven't already, please hit that like and share and subscribe button. That'll really help the channel out. I think we've got over 1,000 now, 1,030. So we're just kind of trying to build it a little bit more to the 2,000 if we can get there. All right, Paul. So the first game of the round, how good was it? St Kilda defeating Collingwood by 15 points. Premiership hangover?
I guess at what point can you call it? As in, what point can you call it a premiership hangover? Not can we call their season over? Because they are a very good team, and you can't rule them out in the same way that you couldn't necessarily rule out the Cats last year until kind of the last minute. But
at the risk of some Collingwood supporters switching off, if they happen to be watching, yes, your season is over right now.
Cooked. Put a fork in them. You're done.
Done.
Look, it was a pretty. I don't know. It's hard to get a read. Like they have moments where they look brilliant, and then they have these other moments where they just look so disconnected. So I don't really know what to make of the Pies at the moment. But as someone who's not a Pie supporter, let's hope the losses continue.
And we can just enjoy it. We can enjoy the ride while it keeps going. Hopefully Brisbane get them next week. We'll come to that. Let's talk about the Catters, though. The Catters went over to South Australia and played the Crows. It was probably a 50-50 type game, this one, but the Cats did get the job done by 19 points. Probably should have been a little bit more than that. I think they might have got a goal late there, the Crows. First time we've gone 2-0 since 2019, would you believe that? So chance to make it 3-0 next week.
Well, I mean, based on the fact that, 2019 was the last time, and since that point, we've played in 2 grand finals without a 2-0 start. We're winning the flag this year.
That's it.
How can we lose?
That's my read on it. Back-to-back flags.
It was a good result. We've obviously done the game to death already through the post game on the Friday night, but lots of good things to see.
Yeah, check out the post game. We did that Friday night. I think that had heaps of views. That one, that one's just gone crazy. But make sure you check out the Chat Cats tomorrow night, Monday night, as we're recording this on a Sunday night. But Monday night they'll do their show. I think they may have actually pre-recorded it, but
they pre-recorded it while they were waiting for us.
Exactly. So that'll be lots of fun. It's a long one too, so they'll get really stuck into that one. So enjoy that one. The Freo defeated North, Paul, by 26 points. 9 consecutive goals there at one point. I did tip North Melbourne. I thought they were going to get the job done at one point, but then Freo flipped the switch and it was all over.
Yeah, Freo looked pretty putrid for a while there, and kind of were echoing, I guess, all the sentiments that they're going to be a pretty rubbish team this year, because North were really surging away with it for quite some time until, I guess it was maybe 2/3 of the way through, maybe the 20-minute mark or so through the second term. Finally, Freo kind of got going again. They kicked a couple goals to finish up that term, and then just exploded through the third, and that's it. It was done. So North, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak for a North fan because you've been in the doldrums for so long now, but I feel like at the moment you look at the first half, you go, okay, these are strong first halves. We'll take it because they're a young team and they're probably going to get walked over a lot as those younger bodies get tired. But hopefully they can learn to string it into 3 quarters and then eventually a full game where they just don't let the opposition back into it. Unless, of course, they're playing against the Cats, at which point roll over and we'll pummel you. It's fine.
Roll over and die. They remind me a lot of Melbourne Demons from about 10 years ago when they had all the draft picks in the world. Number 1 draft pick after number 1 draft pick, couldn't win. But yeah, hopefully they turn it around. Hopefully they don't become a dominant force for years to come. But I wouldn't mind if they return to the top 4 at some stage. Now, this is a spicy game. The next one on the Saturday night game, Sydney versus Essendon. What did you make of this game? Swans got the job done by 30 points, but it was pretty close there until Swans pulled away late. I think the Dons might have got a goal back after the siren. It was like 36 points. Ended up being a 30-point game. But Peter Wright, 2 Metre Peter's got a date with the tribunal, mate.
He does, and I guess I'm not too sure what to really make of that game. It felt like the Bombers played like the Bombers that you were kind of tipping for last year with that kind of top 4 sort of team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Swans, like every time that you felt like maybe the Dons were starting to get some momentum, the Swans had just pull it back again, arm wrestling back into place, and eventually they just kind of wore them down. You kind of knew it was coming. And then I guess there's something to be said for, since he's not the Nuff of the week, something to be said for Tommy Papley's comments about the Bombers and maybe the tactics, and maybe that was an effective tactic in terms of rattling the Swans a little bit and kind of bringing them back down to the Bombers level by roughhousing and maybe some less than legal acts, I suppose.
It was a bit rich though, wasn't it?
And I'm not talking about the big bump. Obviously, that's obviously blatantly an illegal act. But some of the behind the play stuff, for want of a better phrase.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of behind the play, thank you, Paul. Bride O'Rourke, I can't remember the name. Chantel Mason from the AFLW Catters coming on the show this Tuesday night at about 7:00. If you're a Patreon member, $6 a month. That's already been on Patreon for the last week. So make sure you can check it out there now if you want. But that'll be dropping Tuesday night as well. Now, next game, Paul, the Dogs versus the Gold Coast Suns. Your team, Gold Coast Suns. I'll
just say along the way, you've skipped a game.
Oh, have I skipped a game? All right, I'll jump.
You've skipped the D's and the Hawks.
I've skipped the D's. Oh, God, I want to talk about the D's and the Hawks. Let me talk about the D's and the Hawks first. So D's, Hawks. D's got the jobs done by the mortal enemy, 55 points. Good win for the D's. Some concerns, Paul, though.
Yeah, the ability to field a defensive unit next week might be a bit of a concern with Stephen May down, and that's certainly going to be a multiple week sort of layover for him. Has it been confirmed that they're broken ribs yet? I don't know if we've actually got the official confirmation, but it feels like it's pretty obvious. And then Jake Lever with some knee issues, which would send a shudder because he's obviously had a little bit of a history with those over the years. I think from his Crows days, I don't think he's had I can't remember. I feel like there was an ACL in there at some point, but I don't know which club he was playing for.
Yeah, sounds right. It was a bit very innocuous. I don't think
it was with the D's in 2018.
Yeah, I don't think Jack Melsham has sent a message to Stephen May. Hope you get better soon, mate. I don't think that's come through yet.
In fact, it's probably said, thanks for your spot.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been training for key defender.
Oh, dear.
But again, a little bit behind the play sort of stuff going on there too. The targeting of Clary was certainly interesting. They were really hammering into him pretty hard. So, yeah, I guess it's interesting the sort of levels that some teams are willing to go to try and knock their opponent down a peg. And I guess if you are a lower rung team, you might have to kind of stoop to these sort of levels from time to time. And I don't necessarily, so I'm not trying to suggest that these heinous acts or anything like that, but it's, I guess, not 100% focused on the game itself.
Exactly right. So I come back to the Doggies game. I'll come back to the Doggies game. So Dogs defeated Gold Coast Suns by 48 points. Suns, your team, your second team, the Suns. What happened?
Third team after the Giants.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
What happened?
I don't know. It was certainly kind of the Suns of old when they had 9 goals, 1 piled on against them in the first quarter alone. And that really just broke the back of the game. That was kind of it from that point.
Yep.
So you could make the argument it was pretty much just a kind of arm wrestle for the remainder of the game, but the damage was already done. It felt, not that I like drawing the comparisons as a Cats fan, but felt very much like the prelim that we played against, I think the Swans one year, 2016, I think it was, where we got blown away in the first term. And then we basically won the game from that point / broke even from that particular stage, but it didn't matter. We'd already blown the game. So, and that was, I think, what happened here. There was a good window of time through the second and early into the third where the Suns really could have, kicked a few goals and made it competitive again. But about a quarter and a half, for about a quarter length span, neither team got a goal. So that would have been a snooze fest, and I'm sure Danders had a great time at the game as a result. But did you see she ripped off her sleeves? It was getting too hot there. She tore her sleeves off.
She did. Happy birthday, Danders, by the way. I haven't sent you a message yet. I was waiting for the show tonight to say happy birthday. So Hope you had a very nice 25th birthday.
But,
we'll go with that.
Yeah, a boring quarter or so worth of game time in that game, but a missed opportunity by the Suns. They blew it in the first term. They blew an opportunity to come back into it, and they got what they deserved in the end. So
game over. Cody Waitman, 4 goals in the first quarter. 4 in the first quarter. I thought he was going to break Fred Flanagan's record there.
That's his quota for the year. I guess I haven't really heard too many people speak too highly of him, but whatever they say, he's overrated. I'm not a subscriber to Cody Waitman whatsoever. So
I'll have to tag Cody in this in the video just so he watches this video and comments. Hello, Cody. All right, next game, Port Adelaide defeated Richmond by 30 points. Another game that couldn't really tell which way that was going to go, probably until the end of the third, start of the fourth. Seemed to be over there. But Travis Boak, 350 games.
Congratulations
to him. Local boy down Geelong way. Couldn't quite get him a few years back, but
we sent the army over.
We tried. We did try.
We got danger though. We got danger in that.
We got danger in the end, so that's fine. So anyway, so that's good. So Port looking good. Yeah, I think they'll go pretty deep this year. They've shown some good signs already. They've won an interstate game now. Richmond's not a great team. They probably won't finish 17th or 18th on the ladder, but they're no mugs, are they? They're probably a middling team. They've still got a lot of good players. We'll see how they go. But yeah, interstate wins an interstate win. We love it. So we're still happy. I'm still on a high from Friday night. Tell you what's going on in the other game, Paul, as we speak at the moment? What's the latest in that one?
Let me bring up the live ones because I was just checking the numbers from that last game. Right now, the Giants are already taken the sword to them. It's 2-5-17, the Eagles to 8-8-56, the Giants. Giants by 39 points. And as of this time of recording, Aaron Cadman has 2 as the leading goal scorer on the ground.
Good on him.
So the number one draft pick from last year starting to stamp a little bit of authority on the competition. Admittedly, beating up on a cellar dweller, but
very good. If you haven't checked out Harley Reid yet, if you're not convinced he's the real
Future
deal,
Cat.
Future Cat. Watch that first quarter. He went on a run along the wing. It's pretty special, pretty bloody special.
11 disposals so far.
He's a gun. Now Brisbane and Carlton didn't play this round, but there'll be a big game with Brisbane next week. I can't remember who Carlton plays, but I don't think it's a big opponent with Carlton, but Brisbane's got a fairly big matchup. We'll come to that in a second. But before we do that, Paul, who is the Nuff of the week?
Look, there's a few contenders. You could talk about the Tommy Papley stuff that we alluded to before. You could also talk about some AFL umpiring, specifically the boundary umpires this week, who, a bit like what I said last week about umpires looking at Skycam, the boundary umpires this week also probably need to go and check their Specsavers, whatever you call it, prescription.
Glasses.
Thank you. Yeah, get your glasses checked anyway, Lou. By the way, the Blues play North next week. I had to go with the streaker. The guy broke onto the ground during the Crows and the Cats game. Dead set clown. We've now. I kind of had hoped at the time that you could clearly see him running around with a camera. I really hoped at the time that maybe that footage would get scrubbed just to, I guess, not encourage people to have their own crack at it. It's a bit like old mate that crashes the cricket game, specifically the England and I've forgotten his name now. But he crashes the England India games. He was making a real habit of it. It was fantastic.
Andrew Simons? No, Peter Hall, serial pest.
I can't think of the bloke. But he's a big fat bloke that likes crashing the ground and then pretending he's an Indian player.
Keep going.
No, I can't forget it. Anyway, look, I was hoping that would, so you just don't get any further encouragement of that sort of behavior. But nonetheless, the footage is out there. Apparently, he was live streaming it, so you can actually see the entire moment right up until he gets kind of tossed to the ground by Keys. Need to make sure we shout out our mate Jeremy Cameron there for holding the ball. If the umpires weren't going to do it, someone had to. Congratulations there, Jeremy Cameron. But honestly, it was just, I hate that stuff. And that in particular, because you'll get some stuff that goes on again behind the play, but and that's not great, but at least it doesn't impact the match itself. This did, and I've seen footage that's kind of resurfaced of some old cricket streakers where there was a player that had been taken off. You might know more about it than myself. I don't recall the thing, but Sorry, I'm pulling it behind. It's not in my vintage, that particular incident. So you might know more.
Let us know in the comments.
I just don't want to see a player get hurt, even if it's just an accident. By some clown that shouldn't be on the ground in the first place.
Plus, I was enjoying the game of footy. That was kind of annoying as well. Oh. What can you do?
Danders. Happy birthday, drunk Danders.
Oh, Danders. Oh, what are you doing giving us a birthday present?
She's tossed us a few bucks on her birthday.
Oh, you're a legend.
We'll throw it back at her later.
We'll have to throw it right back in your face a bit later. Thank you so much, Rach. All right, Paul, let's look ahead to the next round. We've got a couple of big games, 3 big games that I've penciled in the calendar. We've got Brisbane versus Collingwood. Apparently they played last September. Can't remember what game that was, but what round? Oh, that was the grand final. Close one, that one. But yes, both teams haven't had a win yet. This is great. This is perfect. You couldn't have scripted this any better. I love it.
I don't like going into it. I don't know if I'm more or less I don't know which team I'm feeling more confident about. Brisbane's had a week off to maybe get their head checked and whatnot, whereas the Pies, as much as they're losing, they've still got momentum going into the game, and they're like and it's not necessarily good momentum, but they haven't had that time to kind of sit and gather dust. So I don't know. I don't know what Brisbane's bye does for this particular match. Did they have anyone that was concussed or anyone that kind of had a really short term? Lockie Neal, didn't he miss round 2 in the end?
Yes, he did.
Sorry, round 1, I should say, in the end. So
saving him for this game, probably.
That might bring him back into the picture, for round 3. So there might be some advantages there to Brisbane, and it's on top of the fact that it's their home game as well.
And you wait for all the excuses to come. Oh, they had a 2-week break. We've played so many games of footy in so many days. It's coming. You know it's coming. Another big game next week is Port Adelaide versus Melbourne. Now, normally I wouldn't say Port Adelaide's a big game, but it's 3rd versus 4th, I think, according to the ladder as it sits right now. The live ladder, I should say, but I can't see that changing. I think unless GWS. Yeah, GWS
GWS will be on top.
So top 4 game, that should be huge. It's Jack Viney's, Jack Viney's 200th game if he gets picked. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he'll get picked unless he's injured. So
yeah, I think he's pretty safe.
So that should be a cracker. I think we'll figure out something about both of these teams. I believe it's in Adelaide, so Melbourne will have to travel. So if they get a win interstate, especially with their backline decimated, big tick for them.
Yeah, I mean their whole game plan is really built around that defense, and so to not have the 2 real linchpins to that poses some problems for him going into this game. With Charlie Dixon kind of starting to come good, and then a few other young key forwards that shaping up all right for the Power as well. So we'll have to see. I feel like it really swings the advantage Port's way, but who knows? Strange things have happened. I honestly thought that with those guys falling down during the Hawthorn game, that would have been an opportunity for Hawthorn to get back into it. But trust the Hawks to stink it up. It only got worse despite the fact that they had no one to kind of defend the goals properly.
Yeah. Let's stay with the Hawks. Easter Monday, Cats versus Hawks, the biggest game of the year for me, really. Hopefully,
our grand final.
Our grand final, a mini grand final before the grand final. We should absolutely smash them, surely.
You'd think so? I'm curious to see the state of the team. Like we've obviously had Reece Stanley with talks of a broken hand, Dangers holding a hamstring, Atkins with the adductor. There's you'd imagine Mitch Duncan comes back in. I don't know that fatherly duties will knock him out for 2 consecutive weeks, but yeah, I guess there's some little worries for the Cats, but yeah, I don't think they'll be substantial enough for us to be concerned about Hawthorn this week.
I wouldn't be too concerned. No, I think you've got Toby Conway went okay in the VFL the other day. He should be good. Jake, I think he did like a nearly 60-minute review on the 2 VFL games, the VFL women and the VFL men. So talked a bit about Toby Conway, talked a lot about Mitch Hardy as well, probably behind a few others, Mitch Hardy, but he had 29 touches. He's ready to go if he gets the call up as well. Not so much. It was pretty much those 2 though. The others didn't really stand out a heap. But if you want to hear Jake's review on that one, that's on the Patreon. You can get a free membership at the moment if you're keen to see what that's about. But Jake's going to do that every week, and he really puts a lot of time and effort and energy into those. So it's not just a 5-minute quick review. It's if you want to know how these young guys are going and who's who's ready to make that next step. That's probably where you're going to find out, because I haven't seen anyone else do it any better than that. So check out Jake. So, mate, I'm going to this game. I can't wait. It's the biggest game of the year on the calendar for me. I'm very, very keen on it. Hopefully, we'll catch up at the game. I'm thinking that's probably if you can get out for the afternoon. I think there's no.
I'm already locked in to go, so I'll be there.
Sweet. Love it. I love it. So that's probably the big one for me. Make sure you get there, everyone. It's Tom Hawkins' 350th game. If you don't get there, I'm coming and knocking on your door. I'm going to give you a hard time. You have to get to this game, people. Tommy Hawkins. And who's going to cheer him off? I don't know. But, yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited for Tommy Hawkins. He's an absolute champion of this club. And it's one of many milestones coming for him this year. A few more weeks. There's the fly. Well done, Paul. Good catch. Well done. He caught it. Mr. Miyagi. There you go. Very nice. That's it for another week. Thank you, Paul. Nice short one today. Nice short one. I normally do the man, the myth, the legend intro. I skipped that this time just for the sake of getting the show done nice and quickly. Thank you to everyone on the chat. A very special thank you to Rachel Danderfield for the lots of love. The $2.99 on the tip. That's beautiful. Love that. Have a happy birthday, Rach. Anyone else who's having a birthday today, happy birthday to you as well. Go Cats. We'll see you on the next one, everyone.
See you later, guys.